surgery or after weight loss surgery. And I never thought about that until another weight loss surgery Pete made a video on it, and I got to thinking about it, and actually, it has happened to me, um, and it happened to me years ago. And the thing about it is that it's weird because I never thought about it, but I did think about it after I had weight loss surgery and I corrected the behavior. But before I had weight loss surgery, it's funny because when I was little, um, my mom, I can remember laying on the floor. We were watching a TV program together, and I looked over at her, and I knew she would had something under the covers of her, like an Afghan or whatever, because she was laying on the couch, and she was secretly eating something. And then I laughed and I said, "What do you got? What do you got?" And she said, "I got some peanut butter cups." And I never thought of this as secret eating until I thought I started brainstorming about this topic, and thought about my life and how and I'm not blaming my mom, not whatsoever. But that was the one thing that she would do in secret, right? And my favorite food that I used to eat in secret, which would be I would buy a cheesecake, and this is pretty funny because, and I knew that I didn't want to eat the whole cheesecake. So what I would do is I would buy the cheesecake and I would cut it up in little pieces, and I would cut it up in 30 pieces to last me the whole month. So every night I would, this is when I gained my weight, right? I would secretly take that piece of cheesecake. Well, come to find out, I guess that's why at the end of 7 years, that's why I became obese, right? I became 75, 80 pounds overweight, and that's my picture. This is my new journal, and it says, "I just woke up one day and decided that I didn't want to feel like that anymore or ever again, so I changed." So yeah, so that's my journal for this year, and this is what I do to keep my mind and keep my emotions, and just to check myself to make sure I'm doing this, because I don't have any insurance, so I can have a therapist or anything like that. So I got to do my own therapy, right? And having an emotional balance and to make sure my head's in the right place is really important for my weight loss and my healthy body, then where I'm going, right? Because the brain is really the controller, it's not the stomach, or it's a connection to the brain, to the gut, right? So we can get our stomachs cut. I can get my lap band, you know. But the thing about it is, what the lap band does is what my lap band was supposed to do is, when I got the liquid in it, when I got it filled, it was supposed to send the signal to my brain to stop me from eating. Well, it worked sometime and didn't work all the time. Um, so whether or not maybe my hypothalamus or my pituitary gland or my adrenals, my metabolism, who knows? But I did lose 70 pounds, and this is another body shot that I look like. I had a lot of fat. I had a lot of rolls, but as it turned out, I got everything in gear, and I didn't have any plastic surgery. I wish I could have, but as it turned out, I was 53. I was 52 when I had weight loss surgery, and I was back in a bikini, right? So, and then this is at my lowest. I got to 147. So my highest was 215, and my lowest was 147. So my weight loss surgery tool only worked maybe 15 to 20 pounds of that. So the rest was done by, a lot of different things, by a lot of body hacks. And you can look back on my videos, it's all there. And I continue, right? I continue 7 years out. I continue and I constantly recirculate or recycle some of the tools that I have learned along the way. I have an unworking tool. It's not filled. It was unfilled in 2016. I could have had it out then. And the thing about it is that looking back, I was so afraid. I was so afraid to take my tool out. Now I don't care. Now I don't care. I have a plastic piece in my stomach that does work sometimes. I do get stuck if I eat the improper food, but if I eat lighter foods, it doesn't work, right? But if I eat hard foods, if I eat solid protein, it still works, and it will stop me from eating more. I only practice, usually I try to eat only a cup of food and 4 ounces of meat, maybe 3 ounces of vegetables, and I eat whole foods, right? But now I'm on a no sugar cleanse, right? I've been trying to hone in on the no sugar deal, right? So that's what I've been practicing for the last couple of weeks. And it's working. It really is working. And I won't say it's easy. It's really hard to detox off of sugar and sweets because that's my nemesis. And we like to, or I like to, not really see the big picture until I really have to sit down and really look at myself and peel back the onion, or really take a good look at my, what am I doing? The mindfulness of my health, right? So that's what it's all about now. I'm 58 years old. I'm going to be 59 years old. I'm not going to wear a bikini anymore. Nobody wants to look at that. Nobody wants to see a 59-year-old on the bathing suit with a bikini on. Can't wear a bikini anymore because my skin has changed. My skin changed when I got maybe 55. Yeah, and I could probably have plastic surgery, or a cosmetic surgery or reconstructive surgery for what gravity does to our bodies, postmenopause, hormones, who knows, my elasticity is gone and collagen and all this kind of stuff. I could probably get, if I had the money, get some reconstructive surgery, but I don't have a job. I'm living my Zen life. I'm working on my stress, and that's really not important to me anymore. Sure, so I like to keep myself a little bit somewhat presentable because I might be going back to work. And let's face it, when you're out in the job field and you're competing for a job, the better you look, depending upon who interviews you, you're going to get the job, right? So unfortunately, there is discrimination there. And that's a real fact. So, so I have peeled back the onion. I've been working on myself throughout this whole deal since 2012. I'm never going to be perfect. I'm never going to have all the answers. My path is not going to be like yours. We're totally different people. My genetics is different. So I just have to be the best me that I can possibly be. But what I know is I will never go back to that person at 215 pounds. I don't care what I have to do, every body hack, if I have to cut out sugar for the rest of my life or do it, sparingly or whatever, I'm going to do it, right? Because one thing I know with my body is sugar and carbs, because carbs turn into sugar, and processed foods is a no-no for my body at my age. And now I'm not really into very hard exercise. I do some exercise, but the thing about it is that I don't want to stimulate inflammation in my body. I don't want to stimulate inflammation in my brain. I don't want to stimulate oxidative stress in my whole metabolism. So that's what I've been working on. Okay. I've been doing painting. I've been doing crafts. I've been doing things that relax me, reading, keeping away from the TV set. My husband, I said to him, I said, look, the TV programs that are on today, believe it or not, all they want to do is hook your brain and make you hungry and make you buy all these toxic foods and stuff like that. So I remember back in the day when I first had my weight loss surgery, I didn't participate in any social functions. I didn't go to any parties. I didn't hang around with people that like to eat, and I didn't watch any TV. You got that right. So I would watch YouTube because I would watch documentaries, I would watch the animals, I would watch, and then I got into the food porn, and that was a really bad thing too. You want to stay away from food porn because all that does is activate the brain, and then it activates the stomach, and so does sweets, right? So secret eating. Yeah, so let me get back to that. So secret eating, yes, I've done it. And I've done it unconsciously and I've done it consciously, right? Now, a lot of times, and I've done it in the past, we do a lot of pretending. I don't like to pretend to myself anymore. That's how I got to 215 pounds, right? I didn't look myself in the mirror. I pretended to myself. I don't do that anymore. I'm not 100% perfect, but the thing about it is that I own it now. I own it, and you got that right. So I am strong. I am strong, and I'm stronger than the food. I say it every day. And this girl, she's in there. She's waiting to come out the closet, but I just slap her back in. She can. I think I gave it an example of the case of the cherry pie. Now that's had happened before me, another situation a couple of times. I remember I was newly out from weight loss surgery, and an individual came home with, and I won't say, and I don't think they do it in a malicious way, but I don't know why you would do this if someone's right out of weight loss surgery and you come home with a whole container of double chocolate Oreo cookies. Well, I went berserk. Right? And there was another time, there was like 5 or 6 times that this has happened, Last time, I didn't go berserk. But I was really proud of myself that I didn't indulge in that cherry pie. But yeah, I can't prevent these things coming into my household. When I was single, when I lived on my own, I did prevent it. As a matter of fact, I remember my daughter saying, because I didn't buy a lot of unhealthy foods when I was single, when I was a single parent. And I find out years later, because my daughter had a little bit of problem with chunkiness through the years. And I try to control her healthy eating. So later on in life, she told me that she used to go to her friend's house and eat sweets and eat the bad foods. So she was secret eating, right? So everybody does it, I think, at some time in their life. But I think the quantity, and if it becomes a pattern of unhealthy behavior, then that's when you get into trouble. I think the brain, the more you do things, the more repetitious behavior, the brain, because the brain is an amazing thing, right? The brain, and everybody's brain is different, and everybody works cognitively different. But I think that the brain the brain acts differently in different stages, in different life stages, right? And here's my daughter. She was a cheerleader. She was a cheerleader in high school, and then she cheered in college. Um, and that's my daughter, Amber. She's 33 now. She has a little baby on her own. She's on her own. She's married. She has a beautiful baby boy. But this was her at her wedding. She's a beautiful bride. I was so proud of her. She got married as a bride and traditionally. And I'm so proud of her and her baby boy and her husband. But yeah, she was secretly eating. So she learned where she learned that from. I don't know, because I didn't do it in front of her, right? At least not that I knew consciously, right? But she learned the skill, and she would secretly eat over the friend's house, you know. So secret eating is a problem, and we have to acknowledge it because it can become a big thing. And so after I had weight loss surgery, in my losing phase, in the strict losing phase, because I was in a strict losing phase for a year, and I tried to extend that for another year. So I was really strict and bariatric for about 2 years. And then the third year, I became less strict, and you can look back on my videos. So yeah, the secret eating is what I started to do. Is now, my doctor always told me when I did a 6-month pre-op medically supervised diet, and I went through classes, and I went through dietitian work and stuff like that, and they specifically said you never want to eat in front of the TV. You always eat at the table, and you're conscious of what you're eating, right? And you're chewing your food, and that's what it's all about, right? It's not about mindless eating in front of the TV and all that kind of stuff. So my rule, and that's another thing I used to do when I was heavy and how I got to be 215 pounds, I used to eat in front of the computer. I used to eat a whole bag of chips, and I played this game that's called Second Life. I don't play that game no more, no way. But it's a virtual reality game. And I was doing all those bad behaviors. And so now I don't eat in front of the computer. I try not to eat in front of the TV. But if I eat in front of the TV, it's a specified amount. It's a portion control. And I never go back for seconds. So we don't usually eat in the kitchen. My husband eats in front of the TV. He doesn't have a weight problem. And then during the time that I was really secretly eating is when I started this business and buying like a candy bar or something that was what I call unhealthy food for me. Because it wasn't taking me where I wanted to go. But I would hide it in my car, and I would put it in the side, you know, where the side is, and then I would take a little piece, and then I would eat it, right? Now, I learned my lesson straight out of the gate when I had my weight loss surgery, and I didn't have fast food for about 4 or 5 months. And then I went to, you know, the fast food people were calling me in my brain, and I went to fast food and I got a McDonald's, and immediately I had only 3 bites. I had a couple bites of French fries and 2 bites of a cheeseburger with the bun. It went down my stomach. It went on top of my lap band. All of a sudden, and I can feel this right in my head. I felt my stomach start to churn. And luckily, because I carried a baggie like this in my car all the time, because I was always, and I just threw it all up. It just went like projectile vomiting. Like it wasn't even in my stomach 5 minutes, and automatically it came right out Sorry, TMI, but that's the truth. My friend had gastric bypass. She was always stopping. She was foaming, doing the foamies, and she was um, getting sick on the side of the road. She'd pull over and throw up on this because she had gastric bypass, and she'd throw up on the side of the road. She'd get the foamies because I guess she ate too many sweets or whatever. And she would get all hot and sweaty, and she said, "Oh my God, girlfriend, I fell out today." That was her expression. I fell out. I was so sick. I was so sick for about 6 hours. Ate at something I shouldn't have ate. Well, guess what? The gastric bypass she dumped. She did that for about 6 months, well, maybe 4 months or whatever. And then she stopped eating those foods that make your dump because all those sickness and the foamies, and she would get hot. And then she'd have to pass out and go to bed for a while. That's how sick she got. So she had bad dumping syndrome. But now she's 6 years out. She doesn't dump anymore. And she's gained 60 pounds of her 100 pounds back. So, so there you go. These surgeries aren't forever, There's a honeymoon period. Unfortunately, and it pisses me off because I thought that once I got this lap band and I paid $6,000, that this lap band was going to be this magical thing that was going to save me from this stupid food beast and obesity, but it didn't, right? It didn't. And I don't think any of these surgeries really last forever because we can always eat these slider foods, right? Sugar goes down easily, and it's in everything. And these food companies, this high fructose corn syrup, that's one of the deadliest things that you can eat. And chemicals and all this kind of stuff, and they hijack our hormones and stuff like that. This was designed to keep us a customer for the rest of our life to the medical system. Sorry, I'm not going to be a medical system customer all my life. I worked in the medical field for over 25 years. I have seen it. I have seen it with my own eyes. Now, when I was 20 years old, when I was 22 years old, and I saw these sick 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds, I would say, oh gosh, those people are so old and they're so sick. I was only 21 years old, right? Yeah, I was only 21 years old. But now I'm 58. And, the disease the medical conditions are knocking on my door. And guess what? I don't want to go there. No way. I've had my struggles. Through this whole path, I've had these things coming up, and I've had to try to straighten these symptoms out and get to the nip of the bud so they wouldn't turn into a disease, because I wasn't getting on that medical merry-go-round. No way in hell. I spent enough years in this bariatric medical scene, and I had a obese, and now I've been to 1, 2, 3, 4 bariatric surgeons, right? Now, my bariatric surgeon that did my surgery was a little Asian girl, little Asian doctor, Dr. Lee, cute as a little button, right? Only weighed about 90 pounds, Lucky her. She was like maybe 30, 32 years old. Here I am, a middle-aged woman, 52 years old. Yeah. Meanwhile, everybody was saying, "Oh, you look great. There's nothing wrong with you." Oh, yeah. Metabolic syndrome, insulin resistance, hormonal disruption, hot flashes. My legs were swollen. Oh, yeah, I was doing good, right? No problem. You'll be okay. No, I was going down like a ship. So guess what? I pay attention now. I pay attention to this ship because I know I can get out of control within a couple of days of not eating the right foods. Now, I will say that, when I did that secret eating, in the car, I nipped that right in the bud because I knew that was a dangerous path to go down on. So how do you cure a behavior, an unhealthy behavior? You have to own it, you have to recognize it, and you have to figure it out how to get you out of it, right? Nobody can get you out of it. You have to do the work. You have to figure it out. Your girlfriend can't get you out. Your husband can't get you out. Your therapist can't get you out. She can show you the way, but she can't. That's old. What's the old expression? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, right? Now, the thing about it is that I don't want to go back to that dark place, to this person, right? I don't have a recourse. I can't have a revision. I can't go to Mexico. I can't have a revision in the United States, right? I would love to get this lap band out. I would love to do it and get a revision and set me on a new metabolic path so I can go back to 130 pounds, right? But I can't. So I got to work damn hard at this, and I have to fight not to go back there. And that's why I make these videos, right? And someday or someone will come across these videos and it's going to help them, right? I'm not trying to show that I'm all that and all this kind of stuff, because I'm not. I'm a middle-aged woman, right? I'm going to be 60 years old soon. 60 is knocking at the door. But guess what? I have a lot of life experiences, right? I have a lot of life experiences, and I've been through hell and back. So I haven't been on the easy life either, okay? So, and I know ignoring things just gets you in a worse off place. So, and it's a hard thing to face sometimes, that you're wrong, that you did wrong, that you have to correct it. So secret eating, secret eating, it's a big thing. So I have hooked up a video that I'm going to attach, a card that I found this channel. It'll help you. And it's called Secret Eaters Season 1, Episode 3. And it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I won't play the video, but I'm going to attach the card and it'll come up. And then you might want to check out some, maybe some therapy groups that you can go to, maybe online, whether it's Overeaters Anonymous or just try to get a group together yourself. Unfortunately, my surgery that I had, lap band, and there's a lot of support with gastric bypass people. There's a lot of support in the VSG community, but the lap banders, we've always been way out in left field. I don't know too many people in the YouTube community, in the weight loss community that has a lap band left. And I'm probably one of the few that still make videos that I have a lap band. I'll always be a weight loss surgery patient, but my lap band doesn't work. So I have a non-working tool.